Hi, I'm Sanja Rozman. I'm a psychotherapist, a medical doctor, and author of books about process addictions. Thank you for joining me on my YouTube channel, where we are going to talk about process addictions. Process addictions are pathological gambling. You may have heard about addiction to video games. Maybe you heard about people addicted to food that are either purging and overeating or starving themselves. You have probably heard about being addicted to work, even if you don't believe that you can be addicted to work. People can be addicted to sex behaviors like pornography or having multiple relationships. People can be addicted to shopping or debting, and even to some sort of spiritual beliefs. So how can it be that people can become addicted when there's no drug involved? Even doctors used to think that addiction has to do with something you get into your body, either by ingestion or by injection or by smoking, and that it must be the substance that does something to your body, that it goes into your body, hijacks your metabolism, and then doesn't let go, so that you must repeat it even though you don't want to. Because that's what addicts say, that they want to stop, but they cannot stop. And this is actually what makes addiction different from bad habit. Addictions are bad habits, but people can break habits. They can change their behavior. They have the power and the will to choose their behavior, usually, but not when they are addicted. That's what makes a difference. Addiction doesn't mean that you drink too much or too often, or beverages that have too much alcohol. Addiction to alcohol means that you drink to get drunk, and that you cannot stop it, even though you know exactly that it's wrong, that you shouldn't be driving, that you shouldn't do that to your family, that you shouldn't go to work when you're not sober. You know this, you want to do it, you promise you'll do it, you promise often. You love your children, you don't want to do this to them, but still something in yourself is more powerful than you. So it hijacks you, it does something to you. That's addiction. That's a disease. So how can it be a disease? There must be something, some organ, something involved for it to be a disease. All behavior, all that we think and feel and dream of, starts in our brain. It happens in our brain, and so do decision making. So let's say addiction is impaired decision making, and something is wrong with the brain. It's understandable that a substance can do something to the brain, so you're no longer sober and you can't choose your decisions. But how can a behavior, something you choose, something you do, affect your brain? Well, it's so. The brain consists of neural cells. Neural cells are wired together, they communicate in many different ways, and they form patterns that are everything we are. When two neural cells join, it's like that, we call it synapses. One neural cell comes there, the other is going away, and in the gap between those two, small bubbles of chemicals form to transfer the impulse. And those chemicals, those are the chemicals that are very similar to the known drugs. They are quite similar by the chemical structure or the shape, or they can become similar once they're injected or once they come into the body and the body transforms them. So every person, child or adult, addicted or not, has within themselves, in their brain, a potential drug dealer. Brain is learning device, and we can learn to do the behaviors just for the sake of making these drugs that make us feel good. For example, you probably noticed that if you stay too long playing video games for hours, after that you're not quite present to your surroundings. You're a sort of, like high. You don't connect so well to the surroundings. It's like you escaped into some parallel reality. Same goes for pathological gambling, or if you gamble too long, it isn't necessary that you're a gambler, but if you gamble too long, something changes. Somehow time disappears, troubles you had at home, problems with your wife, with your children, or at work, it all goes away and you're just there absorbed in what you're doing. And it helps by escaping the reality to make it a little bit less painful, maybe. So people use chemicals or behaviors to get better, to feel better, to maybe escape reality. But what happens? Reality is there. It doesn't change. The problems, the causes of the problems remain. They're there and generate new problems. And this is how you can get stuck into the situation when you need to use more and more and more just to feel normal, not to feel good, to escape the bad situation in your life. This is how addiction comes. And there's no difference between process addictions and substance addictions in how difficult they are. Always the one addiction you have is the most difficult for you, of course. But it's maybe even more difficult to, abstain from fantasy. Something you just imagine, like how you're gonna win a lottery, bingo. Then stay away from alcohol, which is in the bottle, which you can control. If you don't drink it, it doesn't come into your body, but how do you control your imagination? If you learned something new today, please consider liking or sharing the video with your friends. Or to learn more about my work, please visit my websites or follow me on social media. Thank you.